Right, this is lesson 18 and we'll be looking at setting up a style guide in Figma. And I'd like you to know that we have different elements that we can set up style guides for. Things like colors, typography. You can set up style guides for effects, for grids, and all of these can make your design work easier and faster. Let's take a look at what style guides are. Creating a style guide in Figma is a great way to establish a consistent visual language across your designs. Here are some steps to actually set up style guide in Figma. 1. Create a page. To create a style guide in Figma, first create a new page within your design file. You can do this by clicking on the create new page. So you can actually do this here, create new page or add new page. So once you click that, we are going to go into a different page and you can type in style guide for that project. So style guide. All right, go back to it. And 2, define your brand colors. One of the first steps in setting up a style guide is to define your brand colors. You can create a new swatches frame on your style guide page and fill it with your brand colors using the color picker. So if we go in here, we can actually draw a frame. So let's get a frame first. So draw a frame. All right, let's name this style guide. Copy that and also change our title up here to style guide. All right, so what we can do is to get out our colors. So I'm going to just get default colors. So I'm going to get a circle. I'll draw a circle and I'll draw another one, and let's make that 4. I'll select all 4 of them. You can draw on them this way. Hold shift from one of the end and reduce it. All right, awesome. And now we have all 4 of these and we can now give them different colors. All right, so for this one I'm going to choose the purple. This one I'm going to choose the yellow. This one I'm going to choose the purple, but I'm going to reduce it downwards this way. It's going to be the text color, and then I can have the last one that would be white. So the white one, you can give it an outline so that you always know it's white. So click here and raise it up to white. Right, nice. So we have that. So by seeing this, you would know it's white. So we have the colors ready to go into as our style guide. All right, so let's proceed. Set up typography styles. After defining your brand colors, you can set up typography styles for headings, subheadings, and body text. You can create a new typography frame on your style guide page and define your font sizes, styles, and colors. All right, so let's create a new frame. So this will be for the colors, and mind you, colors have some different hues, so you may want to create those different color schemes for these different colors. All right, something in that nature will be something like this. Let's create this. Let's do this multiple times. We're going to change all of these to like 80%, change this to like 60%, change this, let's change it to like 30%, and you can have things like this as your color style, but actually read about the colors and know how to choose your color. So we can have things like this and have their different color codes, but these are the shades. So let's say this is a color style. The next one is the typography, which is a font style. So we can have a text and put typography. All right, and we can duplicate that and say this is for the heading. So we can say heading is 96 and this is 64, and then subheading will be like 36. All right, and we have the body text. We can have 20, we can have 18, let's do 16, and then we can have the last one as 12, and all 3 of these will be on regular. Right, so we have this can be our color style. Click on this blue shape, and it's going to align them in a better coordinate. So 45, we have this. So this is for our typography. And what can we do to have the style guide? I'm coming to it. Let's proceed. Define button styles. Next, you can define button styles by creating a new button or creating new buttons frame on your style guide page. You can specify the size, shape, color, and typography of your buttons. So let's create buttons as the next one. So we'll create another frame, and this is for buttons. So for the buttons, I'll delete all of these other styles. I'll just delete this other stuff, and I'm going to change this text to button. All right, and I'll put it in an auto layout frame by clicking Shift plus A, and it's in an auto layout. So what I'll do here is I'll give it a horizontal padding of 30 and vertical padding of 16. Awesome, I like that. So with that, we can give it a color. Let's give that black. We'll give it black, and then for the text, we'll give the text white. This is for now. We'll come back to it again. So we're going to create, this is an active state. All right, let's create a secondary button. All right, for the secondary button, everything would be black, and we'll give it a fill. We'll take out the fill, and yeah, we'll close the fill and make this stroke. So this is secondary button. We're going to also have other buttons like hover state, so we can change this black to a different color, something like this. So this can be on hover state, and then we can have default, bring it back to the primary. We can have the disabled state. So disabled state, we can put this at 15%. So at this state, the button is disabled. No one can click on the button. All right, and then we have the hover state, we have disabled state, we have the active state. All right, and we also have the click state. So when it has been clicked, we can actually have something like this in between. Right, so all of our buttons are ready, and let's look at more. Right, add other design elements depending on the needs of your design. You can add other design elements to your style guide, such as icons, illustrations, or form elements. Organize your style guide to keep your style guide organized and easy to use. You can group your design elements into categories or sections. All right, this is amazing. So you can actually create more things and not just colors. You know what, we'll get rid of these other colors and just bring in these two. We'll bring them downwards. You can have alert colors, which are like red and red. Alert colors are red and green and yellow, so we can have this shade of red, something like this, and then we can adjust it for the green, something in this line. Right, duplicate that, and this can be for the orange for warning. Okay, so something like this. All right, so we have our colors ready in our style guide. All we need to do now is add other elements like icons. You can duplicate this and add the icon bank. So let's just add that, and we would actually use it for some of the lessons in the future. So go to the top, go to plugin, and choose let's use feather icons. So click on feather icons, feather of a bird, feather icons, and then we can just keep clicking to bring out as many icons as we want. All right, so I'm just going to bring out, I think, about 10, and if I select all of them, they're all there. I can press Shift plus A, and it will give me an auto layout of those icons. So I'm going to do that again. I'll deselect the background and press Shift plus A, and we have this. Now you can in auto layout, there are other things you can do, which is in the auto layout lesson that is coming soon. So send this out and bring it back in. Would make this horizontal, all right, and give it some space in between, and this will be our icon bank. Right, so we now have an icon bank, and these are for the icons. So you can add other things like illustrations, like effects. Let's add an effect panel. So this will be for effects. You can draw a shape, right, depending on the number of effects you have. Let's just have 2 for now, and then we'll change their colors to white, give them a drop down. Right, so I'm going to do this, something like this, and blow it. You can spread it, all right, whichever one works for you. And then for this one, I'm going to change it from drop shadow to something like let's say an inner blur. All right, so inner blur. So this is an inner blur. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, this is an inner blur. All right, so this can be your effects. It can be your effects actually, and then you can also create your grids. All right, so you can create grids. You can create for the grids. What I do is I'll draw a shape, right, and I would duplicate it, bring it this way, right, then duplicate it some more, and I'm going to give it a red color, something like this. Right, for that, and you can group it, select all items, center it horizontally and vertically, and they're together. Now select it and move it in a bit. You can see as I'm reducing it, they're showing some recordings here. You can see 30 and there's 31 over there, so that works as well. So center it horizontally and vertically on the canvas, and you can have that in that line. So we have our margins, or our grid for our design. Change this one to white and give it a stroke, and put the stroke outside. So this is what we have for our grid. You can now give it labeling by telling the developer that this is a 4-point grid. All right, let's reduce this to 16. So 4-point grid, 4-point grid. You can let him know what the margins are. So you can say margins is 31 margin. All right, so by doing this, you would need to draw like an arrow. So you can grab an arrow from here, from the drawing, from shape tools, and you can just draw it downwards this way, reduce it to 1. All right, and you can say margins. Right, so you can also let him know this is the gutter, not the margin. So this is the gutter, so we change that to gutter. All right, and then the margin is over here. All right, so you can change this to margin, and you'd also have to draw an arrow. So get the arrow and let him know that from here to here is 30. Right, cool. So this way he knows exactly what to do when he's designing or when he's creating his frames, and it will guide him a lot to make informed decisions. So these are the grids. And then it's now time to turn this into a style guide. So this is a style guide. This is a mini style guide. Like when we say style guide, like a guide that helps you helps your design remain consistent. But now we need to change it to the Figma style guide that enable you use this in the main design. So because from here you would have to like copy things and bring them into the design, and then it can be a lot taxing. All right, so how do we do this? Very easy. First, select all of these and name them. So we'll come over here and we have to name them accordingly. So I would come here and I'm going to name this I'm going to name it text color. I'm going to name this alert, right? This as well is an alert, right? This is an alert as well. This is black, so we might need this for a purpose in the future. We can say this is gray. Name this primary color, the purple, and the other one can be secondary, right? And then the final one, which is the white, can be white. Right, so we have all of our colors named here. You can see them, right? And they're also here as well. So I'm going to get rid of this, right, and get rid of this. So we have all of these colors, get rid of the other colors, and we have this. So we've named our colors. It's time to do the same for the fonts. So select all of the fonts and do them one after the other rather. So this is going to be H1, click on this 4 dots I've shown you before, click on plus, press H2. The next one, click on the 4 dots and click on plus and press H3. And then this is body, so you're going to put body, so whatever the size is. I usually put body 1, body 2 or B2, and B3. All right, we have all of these now as style guides, right? And then you can put this in a variant. We'll get to that point, but I'm going to show you how to do this. But you can also put it in a component set. Go up here, click on the component section up there and change it to a component set. This way you can be able to actually duplicate it by holding Alt and dragging it into your design, or going to assets and you can see it under style guide, and you can be able to drag it from there into your design. Now if you do this, you'll be able to change it to whatever you want inside of your design, and it's going to change accordingly. So don't forget to name it so that you know exactly the one you're picking instead of clicking multiple things at once. Right, so that's how you can do this for this one, and you can also put all of these in a component set as well. That way it also work the same. With the button. So with this you can change it to the let's say the arrow down. All right, so you can see it changes accordingly, and you can also add this to the effect. Select both of them, sorry, one of it, click on the effect, click the sign and the plus sign, and you can put inner shadow and press enter. You can do the same for the next one and put it, since we have a drop shadow, I'll just press DS2. Right, so that way we can apply it to anything at all. So if we change this to white and go to the effects, we can click on the effects and choose either the inner shadow or the DS2 or the DS one. Right, this is how you can apply it to anything, and this one would have to be in the mainframe. You can add the grid and to show up in your grid style. So for now we have effect styles, color styles, text styles. The last one is the grid styles. So to do that is very easy. So all we need to do, let's go back to this. I have already removed it. Let's say this is this, and then you can click on the 4 dots, click on plus sign, and type in 4-point grid. All right, and now we have all of them: text styles, color styles, effects, and then we have the style grid styles. Okay, and everything has been set for you to work on. Right guys, so this is how you can create the style guides and have your designs responsive and consistent within everything that you're working on. So it goes beyond just this. Buttons have different sizes, all right, and different modes. Like we have the all-rounded buttons, and we have other buttons as well in your designs. And you can see as I was making that adjustment to this one, it was affecting this one, and that's what happens when you use a component set or a variant for your designs. All right guys, I would see you soon in the next lesson, but before you go, remember that setting up style guide in Figma, you can establish a consistent visual language for your designs and streamline your design process. With a well-designed style guide, you can easily assess and apply design elements across your project, saving time and improving the quality of your designs.